If you're thinking about moving to San Francisco and you're not sure where to start, I created this channel to help you do just that. And in this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important things, and that's understanding all of the neighborhoods. So I've got Google Maps here pulled up, and we're going to do just a really quick overview of all the neighborhoods, some of the high level things that you should know about. I make a lot of in-depth neighborhood review videos, and you can also email me or call me if you check for my contact information on the page. You can call, email, text me, set up a Zoom one-on-one consultation for more information. But this video right here is going to give you a nice high-level overview of what all the different neighborhoods have to offer. All right, we're going to start up on the north side, the Marina District, Cow Hollow, Pacific Heights, all right here, Lower Pack Heights, this whole area. And then over here, Fisherman's Wharf, got the touristy areas. Right below it here is North Beach, Russian Hill, Nob Hill, and then Tenderloin downtown. This is the area that everyone talks about that says, "Oh, the whole city is turned upside down. It's crazy out there." It's just this little area right here. It's not the whole city. This is an area that you're going to want to avoid. Let's start with the marina. A lot of people hang out here. This is a really cool destination. You don't get a lot of tourists up here. The tourists are more over here. So you will get some Bay Area tourists, some California tourists that know about it, but mainly it's locals. There's the harbor up here. There's a lot of good hiking and walking up here. And then obviously the Presidio and the Golden Gate Bridge. Pretty sunny neighborhood. I created a fog and sunny video as well that you may want to check out. And so this is relatively sunny. I'm not going to get too much into the weather on this video, but essentially, let's just draw a line right here down the middle. And everything on this side is going to be sunnier, and everyone on every neighborhood on this side is going to be foggier. And you can kind of start with the Golden Gate Bridge here, 101 Lombard, and just go straight down to Twin Peaks. This is the highest peak in San Francisco. And then everything to the east is going to be sunny, and everything to the west is going to be pretty cloudy. Farther west you go, the cloudier. Farther east you go, the sunnier. So that's the Marina District. Just south of there is Cow Hollow, a really fun neighborhood, very tiny. Some people consider it the marina, and that connects right to Pacific Heights. To the west over here, we won't get into. These are the really expensive neighborhoods: Presidio, Lake Street, Seacliff. These are all your 5, 10, $15 million homes. But basically, Cow Hollow is really chill. Like I said, it's really small. There is a ton of shops, a ton of restaurants, really great place, really chill. And then below that is Pacific Heights, which is almost all residential, a lot of single family homes, but a lot of condos as well. I made a San Francisco architecture video. It's about 10 minutes long, and it talks about all the different types of Edwardians, Victorians, craftsmen's. And I spent a lot of time in Pacific Heights getting some videos and talking about the different types of architecture because there's just so many great examples. It's a beautiful neighborhood and really expensive, one of the most expensive in the city, if not the state. So these neighborhoods are highly rentable. There's a lot of expensive rentals out here. You're going to be looking at paying 4, 5, $6,000 a month or higher for even a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom. And if you're living here, the main areas that you're going to frequent would be, so here's Van Ness. 1 block east of that is Polk Street, and then 1 block west of it is Franklin and Goff. So Goff, Franklin a little bit, and Polk Street are your main arteries where you're going to have all your restaurants, shops, bars, all places to hang out, gyms. And also Divisadero is a hot block. There's a lot going on Divisadero. My office is on Divisadero down in this area down here. California Street also has a lot going on. And there's a lot of parks, a lot of small parks, and it's very walkable to get up to the marina. East of Van Ness, we talked about, this is all the touristy area, Pier 39, Fisherman's Wharf. And Columbus gets a lot of tourists too. So here's the Embarcadero, and then here's Columbus. And so this is North Beach. Now, North Beach is a really chill local neighborhood when you get into the neighborhood areas and you stay off the main streets. It's really cool. It's probably the worst parking or most difficult parking in the city. But it's a really busy, happening neighborhood. But you do want to live close by all that. There's not a lot of foot traffic, or not a lot of tourist foot traffic, tucked in the neighborhood. Same with Russian Hill. Not a lot of tourists. You do get them trickling in because you've got the Crooked Street Lombard. It's over here, and it's real close to the wharf and Pier 39 and everything. But when you're really tucked into Russian Hill, it's not really touristy, not a lot of tourist traffic, but very hilly. So Marina Cow Hollow is relatively flat. Pack Heights is pretty hilly too, but it's just kind of like one big hill. And a lot of it is flat. There's going to be a lot of flat areas in Pacific Heights, but Russian Hill is probably the steepest, craziest elevation. Not really bikeable. It's not going to be a fun area to bike around unless that's exactly what you're looking for. And below that is Nob Hill. So Nob Hill is right up against Tenderloin downtown. So the farther south you go, here's Broadway. That's the border between Russian Hill and Nob Hill. The farther south you go in Nob Hill, the cheaper it's going to get. Condos and rentals are going to start getting cheaper. But also, the farther south you go, the closer you get to the bad areas. And your main areas where you're going to be hanging out, Columbus, Polk Street. You can come up here too in the tourist areas and hang out. It's pretty cool. Like once every couple of years, my wife and I go up there and hang out, and there's really good restaurants and it's a good time, nice weather, chill. So I'm not hating on the touristy areas. South of the Tenderloin, Union Square is SOMA. And then the east side over here by where the ballpark is, China Basin, Rincon Hill, which they're now calling the East Cut, South Beach, SOMA. All these areas took quite a hit in real estate. Prices went down a lot during the work from home phase. So a lot of folks in San Francisco left to go live in the East Bay or somewhere else in California, or even left the state. I think they said 80% of people that left San Francisco during the work from home time stayed in the state. But a lot of these folks bought single family homes. They bought houses out here or in the North Bay or the East Bay, but they just did not want to be close to work. This is where all the offices are, and they just were like, if I don't have to be in the office, I don't want to be here. Wanted more nature, more outdoor space, more backyard, nicer neighborhood type places. So not just the home sellers, but all the landlords too that had to have the rentals. They got hit. So it's really cheap to rent down here and to also buy real estate. And I don't know if we've faced the bottom yet. We're starting to see prices going up now this year. We're definitely past the bottom as a whole in San Francisco, but not really sure about this area quite yet. And then south of the ballpark is Mission Bay. This is where UCSF is, the Chase Center where the Golden State Warriors play. Very hot neighborhood. It really turned around over the last 10 or 15 years. It is a lot more expensive than the SOMA neighborhoods. And then south of that is Dogpatch. These are the sunniest neighborhoods. The Mission is the sunniest neighborhood, but just east of the Mission are some of the absolute sunniest neighborhoods in the city. Mission Bay, like I said, is still pretty expensive. Dogpatch prices, there's not a lot of single family homes here. It's mostly condos, but Dogpatch prices are still affordable. If you think you're getting priced out of condos or even rentals in Mission Bay, come down and look at Dogpatch. South of Dogpatch is Bayview, mostly single family homes. Probably it's the biggest district, the biggest neighborhood in San Francisco, and it's the most up and coming. Can probably still find single family homes for 1.2, fixer uppers for $1 million. But this Bayview is definitely the neighborhood if you just absolutely have to have a single family home. Weather is amazing down here too. Very windy, but also just very warm and sunny. Right in here between the freeways, between 280 and 101 is Potrero Hill. And this neighborhood is blowing up too. Everybody wants to live here. If you haven't been here, you don't really know about it. What I've noticed, a lot of my home buyers, and I'm selling a condo here too, but a lot of my home buyer clients, just helped two of them in the last few months. Once we go up there, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It feels really tucked away. It feels like its own little city. There's no real crime or anything up here. It's just very segregated and quiet, and other people from the city don't really come up here in this area. And there's restaurants and there's a Whole Foods and there's, a lot to do, not as much to do as if you were, in Mission Bay or if you're up here in the northern neighborhoods, but it very much is a neighborhood that you should at least drive through if you're coming through the city and trying to get to know the neighborhoods. A lot of people here, just like out in the Richmond and the Sunset, if they're here, they love it and they're not leaving. I've got a lot of clients that they're there, they're renting, they do not want to leave. So they're just kind of stuck there because when things do hit the market here, it's rare and it's scarce and they tend to get into a lot of bidding wars. So a lot of folks here would much rather maintain that high standard of living and not buy something outside of the neighborhood and just stay in here. Mission District, I made a full 10-minute video on the Mission District. So go check that out. It's the sunniest neighborhood. It's very lively. There's a lot going on. A lot of feedback I get about the Mission from home buyers is, I love the Mission. I want to go hang out there. I want to be next to it, but I want to be able to go home somewhere else where it's just not so crazy and lively. But also young tech home buyers can still afford here. This is where they're buying. I've had tech clients, AI clients that come in, they don't quite have the budget. They only want to put 5% down or 10% down. They want to just get in, and they want to get in a neighborhood that's going to appreciate a lot, that has a lot going on. And if that's the case, then go check out the Mission. As you go west, you'll get to Mission Dolores and then Noe Valley. And Noe Valley has blown up a lot over the last 20 years. The Stroller Valley is what they call it. I've made a lot of videos about Noe Valley. We had some listings there, and I made some videos about it. It's a fantastic neighborhood for families. A lot of folks are getting priced out. Now, the higher end homes in Noe Valley are, they're not doing as well because the executive class, the CEOs, the founders, they don't necessarily want to be down here anymore, because the goal for these folks where they could jump on the freeway and get down to Silicon Valley, get down to Stanford, Sand Hill Road, and the 10 that the you know the 5 million, 10 million plus homes, these folks are now coming up here back into the northern neighborhoods. But it's still really hard to get in for the first time home buyer. Single family homes, you're still going to need over $2 million to get in. Condos are still competitive, and it's a pretty sunny, flat neighborhood. You're in a little bit of a valley, and as you come up, you'll start elevating up into Diamond Heights and Twin Peaks and the Twin Peaks neighborhoods. And over here is all the elevated neighborhoods. I made a video about Diamond Heights, and also I made another one about Twin Peaks. So go check those out if you want to learn more about those. But they feel very rural. It feels like you're in Marin or the East Bay. Not as much because there's not as much going on. You're going to need to come down the hill. They're not really walkable. It's going to be a 15, 20-minute walk to go do something, 5-minute drive. But there's a couple restaurants, a couple grocery stores, but it's a lot of parks, a lot of green space. So if you want, if you have starting a family, but you want to stay in the city, this is where people look. And south of here are some very hot neighborhoods too, especially for first time homebuyers. Glen Park, Sunnyside, south of the 280 as well. The homes are a little bit more expensive than Bayview, but those neighborhoods, Portola Valley, Excelsior, Outer Mission, you can get some really big single family homes for well under $2 million down there still. We will come back to the central neighborhoods. Well, let's talk a little bit about Sunset and Richmond, and then we'll zoom in and talk a little bit about the central neighborhoods. So these are very, very neighborhoody, chill, not a lot going on. And that's exactly what people like out here. There's not a lot of freeway access. The commutes are not great if you have cars and you're trying to drive to work every day, but it's very bikeable. It's very walkable. The Muni lines, the bus lines are really good out here. And that's what most of the people do. And the Sunset, these are the foggiest neighborhoods. And the closer you get to the ocean, the foggier it's going to get and the colder it's going to get. North of the Sunset neighborhood is Golden Gate Park. And when you get north of Golden Gate Park, there's the Richmond, Inner Richmond, Central Richmond, Outer Richmond. These neighborhoods, like Potrero Hill, probably more so, are the folks that are like, I'm here. I love the Richmond. We've been renting here for 10 years, 15 years, and we're never going to leave. And it has the best of everything except for the weather. It's going to be cold and windy, but you're right next to the ocean. You're on top of Golden Gate Park. North of you is the Presidio. So it really feels like its own city. It's very tucked in. And just like Potrero Hill or even Mission Bay, there is only locals here. Tourists don't come here. Even the folks that live in San Francisco are not really coming out here a lot. It's, if you live here, you hang out here, unlike the Mission and the northern neighborhoods. All right, so let's zoom in and check out the central neighborhoods. DuBose Triangle, the Castro, Buena Vista, Cole Valley, Lower Haight, the Panhandle, Alamo Square. These are all highly desirable neighborhoods. This is where everybody wants to hang out. This is where everybody wants to be. A lot of renters, if they can afford it, will move into these neighborhoods. My office is on Deviz. I'm right over here across the street from Alamo Square. So I think that is going to be it. Just wanted to give you a high level overview of the neighborhoods. Again, if you want more information, I've done a lot of other neighborhood videos. I did one for Russian Hill, Diamond Heights, Twin Peaks, Mission Bay, the Mission. I want to do a lot more. They just take a long time to produce. So if you have any other questions, check my channel for my phone number, my email, or you can even set up a one-on-one Zoom consultation. That's the most popular way people get a hold of me. If you're thinking about moving to San Francisco soon, give me a follow. I make a lot of great information like this for you. Thanks for watching all the way through, and I'll see you next time.